Monty, you want to pray for us this morning, please?
Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for this day, Lord. We just thank you for all the many blessings that you bestow upon us, Lord. We just ask that you be with us today as a court, as we do the county's business, and that we'll do it to your will. Lord, we just continue to lift up all those who are affected by our disaster here, the tornado, as well as the floods, and we just lift them all up to you. We just pray all these things in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll go ahead and call Marshall County Fiscal Court to order September 20th, 2022. Brittany's on the agenda under guest. She's at a conference and she has stepped out, so we're going to get her on the phone real quick for an update that she has.
Hey, Judge, can I make a little announcement?
Yeah, we
I
can.
didn't give you all of you an invitation. First Presbyterian Church in Calvert City has been named a Presbyterian Disaster Relief Site, and we have our first group to come in and do work. They're going to be working in Mayfield, sorry, but they're going to be, they really got the grant for it. So we convert a large portion of the church to sleep up to 16 people who can come in here, and we're in the process of hopefully getting some grant money for Marshall County, so people can come here and do work, money to pay to do what they do. So we're going to have a little dinner, whatever, tomorrow evening, about 6 or so, and everybody's invited. If you get it, and we want these people going to come. They're going to have a little session telling everyone about what they do and where they're doing it and all that kind of thing. So everyone's invited.
Do you know, I'm sure you have you worked with the long-term recovery group to advise them?
Yes, we hired Renata York as our host site manager, and as soon as we got her hired, one of her chief duties is to attend that meeting every Monday. Everything we do is coordinated with
her. Okay. Yeah, because I think there's quite a few folks that are going to be coming in first of the year that are going to be needing some.
We're in conversation with one group. I don't know who they are. I just know we are in conversation with a group that wants to come and stay at our place in January and February.
Perfect. Okay. All right. Thank you. Tell her she has the floor. Good morning.
Okay, now try.
Okay, now can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm here.
Go ahead. You have the floor.
Okay, sorry, I didn't know if I was supposed to wait or what. So basically, we have got a really great opportunity to partner with Belmont University to get a student who is going to be doing her doctoral capstone. She is attending Belmont to receive she's going to be an occupational therapist. And as part of her coursework, she needs to do a doctoral capstone project, which is essentially like an internship. Reagan Harris is who this is. She is a lifelong resident of Marshall County. She is a wonderful, wonderful girl who is really passionate about helping people and has been a longtime supporter of the Miracle League. And she has gotten Belmont to approve that she could do her internship or her doctoral capstone working with the Miracle League of Western Kentucky. This is something that isn't typically done because they do typically have to do those. They're based in or around Belmont, but after meeting with them, talking to them about our project, Belmont has granted her permission to do this doctoral capstone with the Miracle League of Western Kentucky. Basically, what this would mean is that in spring of 24, Reagan would be in office at Mike Miller with the Marshall County Parks Department, working 40 hours a week for that entire semester, that spring semester, working solely on the Miracle League. And up until that point, she would also be doing work remotely. So she would be doing research. She could be assisting with grant funding and things like that remotely. What's also great about that is that would also come with the oversight and assistance of the doctors and professors at Belmont University, kind of overseeing and helping her as well. I know already, just in preparation for trying to get this approved, she's been doing research on statistics and numbers regarding the population in our kind of target area that our league will serve, on what percentage of individuals have any type of special need or need assistance or would benefit from a facility like this. So all of that is going to be really helpful for us as we start working on some grants and things like that. So they have sent over all of the paperwork. You all should have copies of those contracts. Jason has reviewed those. There were a few points that Jason wanted addressed, and I believe I attached those as well for you all to review. And so I would like to have that approved to be able to bring Reagan on in spring of 24, and then for her to work up until then, remotely doing some work. She wants to stay very involved in this project up until that semester so that she can jump right in. The types of things that she would be able to do really vary widely. So she can assist with grant writing, researching funding options. She can do marketing. She can assist with the design of the playground when we are ready for that portion of the project. She can work directly with the athletes or recruiting athletes. So as long as it is related to that, she is able to work on the project in that way. This is especially important and really beneficial for us because from the beginning, one of the things that I wanted to do was work directly with pediatric PTs and OTs as we designed specifically the playground portion of the project, to make sure that every piece of equipment that we chose is going to really benefit the individuals that will be using these facilities. So having somebody there on site to help us, that their sole focus is going to be the project, is going to be a great benefit to the county and the Miracle League.
I move we approve.
Second.
Hold on just a second. Brittany, can you hear me?
Yes.
You haven't heard back from Belmont on whether or not they approved what I suggested the changes are in the contract, have you?
When I talked to her, she said that the way that would work is that you would work directly with their counsel to kind of address those concerns and all of that stuff. So my suggestion would be that the motion states specifically that it's approved pending Jason working with Belmont's counsel to address the things that he wanted addressed in the contracts.
So this particular contract does not have the changes that I thought you had
Well,
made changes.
I made several suggestions in yellow. I think it was probably what you saw in yellow.
Okay.
And Brittany's saying that hasn't gone through to get Belmont's approval yet.
Okay, so
Right. She wanted to put Jason, sorry, I can barely hear, so if I'm interrupting anybody, I'm sorry. She wanted to put Jason in contact directly with their counsel to work out those issues. Didn't foresee anything that would be problematic, but I would just feel better if the motion included pending Jason working with their counsel.
Okay, so you got a motion. You need to either keep it or amend it.
I will amend that motion and add the language that it needs to, that it's pending our counsel working with Belmont's counsel to bring us back. I mean, you'll have to bring us back a final draft, or I mean a final, right?
Yeah.
I'll second that.
So cite the motion.
Okay.
So.
All right,
the
so I
clerk
move
can
that
do
we approve moving forward with this internship, but pending our counsel and Belmont's counsel working through issues to bring us back a final draft to vote on.
Okay, so the motion is to approve the internship with Belmont pending county attorney's office and the Belmont Council to bring back an approved an agreement.
Yes.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Brittany.
Thank you guys so much.
All right, we'll move back to item A under guest, Roger Ford.
Good morning, guys. I'm here
Good morning.
to get my policy procedure book approved. We had, the only changes we had was one addition that I sent to the county attorney on a body scanner that has been loaned to us by the Grace County Detention Center. I think everything was good in it. Jason, we done a little different wording in a couple things, and we got that taken care of. So.
Yeah, he sent it to me, and then I sent him back some suggested changes. So I'm assuming what they have is with the changes added.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We approve. Second.
The motion is to approve the jail's policy change for body scanner.
Now, that's actually for the whole book also, for the year.
So this portion of the policy is different from the past one that we approved?
We didn't have one in there for that. So this
So
is
this is
for
a
the
new-
whole book, with this being the only addition to it.
Okay. So the motion is to approve the policy with the addition of the policy and procedure body scanner.
Yes, sir.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, guys.
See Sheila's sitting in the back. Good morning, Sheila. He's here to talk about 911 grant with Walmart.
Morning. So I was hoping to get the court's approval to apply for a Walmart local community grant. This is a non-reimbursement grant or a matching grant, so the county would not be out any money for it. It is for between $250 with a maximum of $5,000, so I'd like to write the grant for $5,000. And if we're awarded the grant, we would like to use it for educational materials to teach the kids in our community how to call 911 in an emergency. With landline phones going away, we've noticed that most kids don't know how to call 911 from cell phones. And the American Academy of Pediatrics last year actually did a study, and it showed that 91% of elementary school-age children cannot recognize an emergency or dial 911. So the last thing we want is the kids in our community to have an emergency and not know how to reach us. So if we're awarded the grant, we would purchase educational materials and then use that during events with kids.
Move that, that we approve or give you the authority to request the Walmart grant.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. The motion is to give Sheila 911 the authority to submit for the local community grant with Walmart. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go to item D under guest, Roger Coburn. Good morning, sir. Unfortunately, he got to come up here and
Good morning.
morning.
I'm here seeking some help from the North Marshall Water District. We have a need out in Cambridge Shores to replace some water lines, and the county is getting ready to repave the streets out there. Most of our water lines in the Cambridge Shores area are underneath the road out there, and we've got some concerns about paving the roads before we can get the water lines restored to a new condition. With all the traffic and everything with the debris removal activities after the storm, those lines have been loaded up. We're out there about every week fixing leaks here. And so we have a project put together and turned it into the state to replace the water lines all of the lines that have not been replaced since 2009. So these are all old water lines that were probably in the original development. It's roughly 2.8 miles, and about 100 residents would be affected by it. And our budget for the project's around $1 million. And I understand we've got a SAFE grant lined out for $400,000, and we're seeking another $600,000 in funding and to do the project.
Is there entertain a motion as stated by Roger so we can go into discussion?
Yeah, I think, again, we talked about it a little bit last week, but because the monies that we had committed for a project already in the north end of the county that now won't have to be used because of the grant that Calvert City is receiving is a wash between those two, and so I'd like to see us support that, and I know based on your...
Yeah, so is that a motion?
It is a motion.
All right, so the
yes.
motion is to approve $600,000 for the Cambridge Shores water project for
Yes.
North Marshall Water District. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, so for discussion, the Calvert City project that was submitted, what you're referring to is the original ARPA monies got 100% approved.
Yes.
And so that frees up because there's a lot of ARPA monies coming from different levels.
Yeah.
We got $6 million directly from the federal government. So that's where the $600,000 would come from.
Yes.
Is there further discussion on that?
We've still not received the additional 3. It's got to be close.
No, I completed a form that they requested last week, and they said that it's about a 2 to 4 week turnaround, so we should see it
Yeah.
in 2 to 4 weeks.
Okay.
So no further discussion on that? Okay, so did you get the motion? All right. So the motion is to approve $600,000 out of the original $6 million ARPA monies that the county received directly from the federal government to support North Marshall Water District's project in Cambridge Shores. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
I know it's a long time coming to get that fixed, so.
Well, I mean, we're excited about being able to do that with all the investment being put back into that community. I think it's a good thing for Marshall County.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Roger.
Thank you.
And Roger's already taken care of he'll take care of the design and everything for the pad. Item E, Chad McCain. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Just been a couple weeks since I last gave an update on our projects that we've been working on with the county on the water side of things and sewer both. Also wanted to talk about the round 2 of funding. I understand you guys want to have some discussions there and kind of follow up on the meeting that was had last week with the mayors. Excuse me, and my understanding there on the allocation of the $1.9 million funds that came through round 2 of the Cleaner Water Program. So just real quick on the projects we're working on, we do have a material bid package out right now for the hardened water projects. So we'll open bids on that in the next week. So we'll see how those come in, and then hopefully in the meantime, the next couple weeks, we'll get the permit from Division of Water, and we'll be ready to bid out the actual installation of those water lines as well in the Hunter Road, Walnut Grove area. On the Oak Grove level area water projects, we're continuing with our surveys, preliminary design phase right now. Still getting very positive responses from the property owners out there as we do our field reviews. So we're just continuing to plug through our survey information and work on the designs at this time. Push forward there. Any questions on those projects? There, the Southwest 1 sewer extension project out at the industrial park. The installation of that sewer should be done today. We were working on testing this afternoon, getting that buttoned up, backfilled. over there. So that should be wrapped up here this week.
I'm getting a lot of good feedback, like you said, from the folks in West Marshall.
Yeah, definitely.
Very, very thankful for what's going on out there. So, did you get anybody brought you in for lunch or anything like that?
No,
when you're
nothing
out-
like that yet. But
We'll put
the way
it out
we're
there.
tackling that project, we're actually tackling it. We've broken the larger project up into 10 smaller projects. So depending on how everything breaks out with easements, you know, we're trying to work through the designs on those one at a time as best we can, so that if we get to a point where we need to get water out there faster, that we'll be in a position maybe to get, you know, a smaller project approved and get it pushed forward, rather than waiting for the grand project to all come together at the very end. We do have several easements. Last count, you know, we're probably in the 70 easements, you know, is what will be needed for the grand project itself. So we run by the rule of 10%. You know, even on good projects, you know, we figure we'll probably have 10% of the property owners we'll have to do a little negotiating with and to get the water projects pushed forward. But as of right now, that's where we're at, and that's where we're standing, but we are trying to plug through one at a time, and then spread out from there.
Just to update the court, on the second round of the ARPA monies from the state, these are different than the ARPA monies that we were just discussing with North Marshall Water District. Marshall County was allocated to receive, as Chad said, $1,923,116. Myself and the city mayors of Hardin, Benton, and Calvert met last week, and we discussed to just split that equally. That's going to benefit, I believe, Hardin's sewer project. Benton's got a sewer lift station project. And Calvert's obviously got a new project. But that gives us equally split about $480,000. And one of the projects, if you remember, the original Chestnut Creek study at the sewer plant, it's Frankfurt Road that runs on the other side of the interstate. The folks that lived on what I call the receiving end of the failing plant, there is a project. In addition to that project is the beds that are needed at the plant that can facilitate those monies. And that's, you want to shed some light on that
Go into
particular
a little
project?
bit. Yeah, as the judge said, broken up 4 ways. I've met with the mayors of each of the 3 cities, and you know, very pleased, obviously, with the assistance there, and that will go towards basically fully funding the Hardin sewer project. They had about 50% funding before with the first round, and this will almost fully fund their job. With the Benton lift stations, they're in the same boat. It'll almost allow them to have 100% funding on their lift station job. Calvert's got some work at their water plant that they're wanting to do with their money and be very beneficial to them and moving that project forward. As far as the sanitation district end, just to follow up on what the judge was saying, the residents who were most affected by the discharge to the treatment plant over there in Draftonville several years ago when it was having its issues with treatment are the folks along Frankfurt Road. The discharge from the plant actually crosses the interstate, outlets there behind Frankfurt Road, and then runs down the tributary there, Chestnut Creek. And that was the area most affected. So the project that the county has asked us to look at is actually running what we call a low-pressure force main, which is a header force main. The topography doesn't lay very well for gravity sewer as you head south from the lift station, but there's approximately 14 to 15 residents down there that were initially affected in that basin that would be eligible for funding through the EPA grant funding that would allow them to tie on to a sewer should it be made available to them. So this project, what we call the Frankfurt Road low-pressure force main, would extend a force main from the lift station that was built last year, run down Frankfurt Road to the end of the cul-de-sac, and then it would allow those residents to work with the EPA grant program to get their own private pump station installed, get them off their septic, and then pump into the header force main that the county would build along Frankfurt Road.
And those 319H funds are federal funds. The county is no longer, as we initially started out that program, in that relationship, we budgeted dollars, and then we used our monies, and they reimbursed us. So they have cut us out, which is great, and they are directly funding the individuals in that affected area at 100%.
How were those at the end affected? You said they were affected.
Well, initially, whenever the treatment plant was not working as intended, they were polluting the stream, or their discharge right there along behind Frankfurt Road. The polluted water was coming out there, running down the stream, and those were the most affected residents initially with the Chestnut Creek water pollution issues. So they were kind of the first ones in the area that championed the Chestnut Creek, I forget the full name title
Yeah.
of it, the Chestnut Creek Committee, I'll say, but they were the ones that championed the funding from the EPA to help with getting folks off the septic system onto the public sewer so it can clean up that watershed and also go to, helping out the environment and the treatment plant in the area. So
Yeah,
improvements that the county has assisted with from 2017 to present have helped the plant tremendously. So the plant's putting out a better effluent quality now, which is helping that basin and the residents that live along Chestnut Creek. And then removing these septic systems along Chestnut Creek will also help clean up that area and allow that stream to go back to a more flourishing area, where kids aren't afraid to play in the creek, as I understand they were several years ago when we started the project.
Yeah, the process is a federal process. It was a 5-year study. The site point for the high E. coli counts was the sewer district, the actual plant. That opened up these dollars that are now available to those folks in that Chestnut Creek area. Any other questions for Chad?
So let's talk about this set of ARPA funds, because we really hadn't had a ton of discussion on this in court. These are state ARPA funds that are they same stipulations as the ARPA funds that were funneled to each county, essentially? The $6 million that we received.
The stipulations are different from the $6 million.
Okay.
Then the way that they break it out, the $6 million money that went directly to the county was what they call, and I'll use quotation marks, local ARPA
Right.
funds. So those don't have as many stipulations or restrictions
Right.
as what these funds do. These are called Cleaner Water Program funds. So these are similar to the first round of funding that the county got. That was
CARES Act.
Well,
Or not CARES,
no,
but,
it was still ARPA, but it was called the ARPA Cleaner Water Program Round 1. This
That's-
is Round 2. There's
It's
been
the
two
one
rounds
Calvert
of
City got 100% funding. Oak Level did not get funding, and Hardin, basically we agreed Hardin and Benton would split the majority of the monies for their sewer projects.
About a year ago, the
Yeah.
county got, it was approximately 1.1 to 1.2 million, I think it was.
Million
What it
58.
rounded up to be, and that was split, my understanding, between Benton and Hardin in
Gotcha.
those two projects
All
at
right.
the time. So this is the same funding as that. This is just called Round 2.
Okay.
So, but it does have a few more stipulations and restrictions from a permitting standpoint, paperwork standpoint, but it's still grant money. It just takes a little bit more on the administration end.
I guess my initial thought with this is I like the fact that we're splitting these and working in conjunction with our cities. My concern is the cost of the projects that we've already committed to with our $6 million ARPA monies. I'm a little concerned that we might need that $400,000 to finish all those that we've approved. I mean, how many times do we start a project and then have to come back and request
I
more?
understand your concern. Yeah, man.
So, I mean, that's, it's $400,000 I would rather use for another project, but
Do you have another project in mind? 'Cause
no, I don't have another project. I'm
Yeah.
saying, would I like to use it for another project like this? Yes, but my concern is we've not started, we've started some of it, obviously, And are we going to end up needing that $400,000 to finish those projects?
Can you share the timeline that the state has directed us? Do you know it off the top of your head?
As far as allocation by 2024 and then spending the money by 2026, and that timeline still applies. Is that what you're speaking to?
Well, the initial, through the pad, getting the project submitted.
Project, yes, I can talk about that. As far as the projects go, right now, the state, through coordination with the pad offices, has asked that all the projects that would receive funding be submitted by the 26th of this month to them, and then they'd like to have that money allocated there, at their meeting on the 27th, get all that submitted. So unfortunately, it is a pretty quick timeline.
Yeah, it was the same directive.
We all got an email about a week and a half ago to that effect. So.
And it was the similar situation. I mean, the state dictates, get the projects to the local leaders, the mayors and my office get together. We did the exact same thing the first round as we did the second round, but the timeline the state sets. So that's why I'm asking, as far as projects.
No, I don't, but I also, I get it. You're given that amount of time, so no, I can't come up with a project off the top of my head.
There is, and I'm just talking from information standpoint. At one time, we were talking about some monies, what we called overage monies that were allocated through ARPA. There's a $50 million pot of money that they have still set aside in Frankfort for overages. So that money is for cleaner water program projects that come in over budget. So if you did have a funded project, whether it be any of these that we've talked about today, if those come in over budget, then they have this money set aside that can be applied for if you have an issue with material prices increasing on you or some they call it COVID-related, cost increases on your project. So I don't know if that helps or not, but that is another pot of money that the state has set aside that cleaner water programs are eligible to apply for if they come in over.
Also, with the Oak Level project, I mean, there's a high possibility we're going to have change orders and the typical in doing a project of that scope.
It's a rural project, so typically, kind of like Jonathan Creek and Justin's experience down there on those, for rural projects, you usually get much less change orders on those type of projects because most of the knowns are there. You don't have a lot of underground utilities to work with, aside from maybe having a buried car or something like that out there. You got to pull out, but most of the unknowns are typically minimized on rural projects. So the propensity for change orders are much less on county projects or rural projects. Not to say there wouldn't be any, but there was a less likelihood of running into those.
For sensitivity of time, we have a public hearing at 10. Did you have anything else, Chad? I think you hit all the wickets.
Answer any questions if y'all have any other questions about those, and I can come back and answer more questions.
Yeah.
If we need to at a later time.
Okay.
So 26th of this month.
26th of this month is when the projects need to be submitted by, if they're going to receive this funding from this 1.9 million. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, it directed us to meet, have it put into the state system and submit it to the pad so they can run it up to the DLG. But we got to go into a public hearing.
Sure.
So I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll go ahead and go into the public hearing regarding the Walton Lane and Crooked Oak Loop. The advertisement was put out in the paper, but by statute, the advertisement also had to be listed within 3 miles of the road.
It's like a mile within it was posted at 3 locations along the road, so we didn't do that prior to the public hearing, so.
So to do the proper public hearing by statute, we put it on the agenda for today to have the public hearing. So, yes, so everything has been advertised. The road reviews, let me go ahead and we'll start with Crooked Oak Loop. This is the road review. Marshall County Fiscal Court proposed acceptance of county maintenance of portion of Crooked Oak Loop advertisement for a public hearing was placed in the September 15th, 2022 issue of the Tribune Courier. The public hearing is to receive comments either for or against the county accepting a portion of Crooked Oak Loop into county maintenance. County Road Superintendent Roy Watkins and appointed road viewers Brad Warning and Andy Lepisto all viewed the road during on-site inspections. Observations were made, and it would not be recommended to accept this portion of Crooked Oak Loop into the county maintenance, and that is the paved portion. So that is the road reviewers' statement. Is there anybody here for Crooked Oak Loop? You want to step up to the mic again, Gary? Good morning, sir.
I think the last time I was here, I failed to tell everybody my name. My name is Gary Smithers. I've lived on Crooked Oak Loop since 2002, maybe. The road was gravel when I lived there. I realize I've been up here before. I give you about a 30-minute spiel on the road. I don't know what else you want me to tell you. I can tell you that the taxpayers and the voters on that road want you to take the road over and maintain it. Right now, in the wintertime, we have 2 people on that road that own tractors. And those folks get out there and scrape the road, get the snow and the ice off of it at their own expense, their own time. Any of you have any questions? Because like I say, I've been here before, just a couple of weeks ago, and talked at great length. All of the people that live on that road have signed this petition. There is one couple that own property on that road, but they don't live there. They did not sign the petition. All they do there is they've got horses on the property. There are other residents here that will probably tell you the same thing that I told you the last time. So without going into all that detail again, unless you want me to, I'm available for questions.
Does anybody have any questions for Gary?
I mean, the road review has not been done, right?
Yeah. It just says that it's not recommended, but I don't know why. It doesn't say why. I'm curious as to the details of that, but other than that, the road review has been done. Is there anybody else before we get into that?
Several other people here, that residents of the road.
And we heard you the last meeting, so we still have that information.
Thank you.
Is there anybody here for Crooked Oak Loop? Come on up, sir.
We don't have a copy of the road review.
No.
I just read
It was just in the, he just read it.
Okay.
Yeah.
My name's Derek Gentry. I've lived there since it was nothing more than a path. Road's been brought up 3 times to code that I'm aware of. Every time it's brought up to code, it's been changed. I've been there since as a boy. Many people's already got tired of it. They moved on, they left. Many let their houses get abandoned. It's not been maintained. When it is, if it collapses, it's somebody like me that has to crawl under the road and shore it up with riprap and concrete. I come home one night, flood, washed it out. About a 7-foot crater underneath one section of it. For 7 hours after I got home, just packing riprap, shoring it up. We've all paid taxes for I don't know how long. How many times does it have to be brought up, unfortunately? I mean, how much money did we have to put into it? My parents spent, right along with Jim and a few others, I forget, it was like $56,000 to pay out of our own pocket, out of their pockets. I mean, at some point, you'd figure the county would take it over, but is there any questions? I don't really know what to tell y'all.
No, Gary did a good job of filling us in at the last meeting. It is good to hear from residents that are on the road. I think it was just Jim and Gary that showed up last time, so
I mean, it becomes a big issue when you have to drive your kids 3/4 of a mile to the bus stop, or you have to fight the snow and the weather. I mean, these two have been doing it for quite a long time on their tractor. I mean, I even tried to help last year on my little lawn tractor. I about killed it. 3/4 of a mile, I killed my tractor.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Derek, I appreciate it. Is there anybody here for Crooked Oak Loop? That'll be the third request. Come on up, sir. Morning.
I wasn't going to get up here and talk for you people because this is my fifth time to appear before Fiscal Court. They asked for this to be taken into the county system. We paved the road to the county specs at the county's request in 2003. We came up here right after it was done and it asked to be taken in. It was trash can because we had a little feud, I guess, going with Fiscal Court with Mike Miller, put it blunt. So it didn't get paid. It was thrown in the trash can according to his words. And when she pulled it up on the computer last time, she said she didn't have any record of it. It's probably because it was stricken from the record. So I'm asking again if we can do it. It would be a good opportunity for y'all because you're going to go ahead and pave the road right adjacent to it, Holland Road. So it's very economical for you to do it while equipment is there. It would be in your best interest, we feel. And I'm asking for these three guys' support plus yours, Judge, if y'all would possibly do it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Jim.
You got any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody against Crooked Oak Loop? Anybody against? Anybody against? I believe that meets the statutory requirement for the court. What was, Roy, you and I had briefly talked, what was the estimated cost, but also what determined the recommendation?
If the cost to bring the road to county specs now is approximately $124,000. If you pave the road as it exists now and just replace the culverts that's needed to replace, is approximately $55,000.
Is a recommendation because of the cost?
Well, if we're going to go off of the road specs that we have now, it does not meet the road specs that we have in place now.
Okay. Y'all have any other questions?
What about, so the 55,000 is to simply pave what is currently there and do, I'm sure there's got to be some other work to be done.
There'll have to be some ditching, and I think it's 6 out of 8 culverts would have to be replaced or need to be replaced. They're rusted out in the bottom, so I would advise all those culverts be replaced before it was blacktopped.
I'd like to get a copy of the report on what all doesn't meet our current specs when you get a chance, please.
Talking about the road review?
Yes.
Yeah. It's this one that I just read.
Does it, I guess, what do you go by? Were the specs different from whatever it was, 2003 or 2004? I mean, I know they're different to today, but the difference in 2003 to whatever that was, 2013, when it was declined by the court at that time, is that right? Was it 2013 or 2014, 12, something?
12.
13, I think.
those, I'm assuming those changed between '03 and '12, or,
I have the road resolution from '02.
okay. All right,
I don't have the '03.
okay. But that would be prior to that, so you assume that it's.
Do you know?
Changed, I guess, hang on a second. I guess my question to that is, does it meet '03 requirements or not?
It does not meet '02 requirements.
Or '02?
I don't have '03.
Okay,
But if it was a new road in '03, and if it's the same resolution as '02, it does not meet a new road resolution in '02. Does that make sense?
yeah.
So if I understand you right, it has not met any of the specs we had in place throughout the years.
It does not meet '02 specs or the present specs.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
If we're going off the '02 specs, what are they lacking that they need to do? Because my initial concern is that every time that they come up here and they get the specs and they're told, I mean, it's going on 20 years that they've been trying to get it in.
Well, in '02, which is a year prior to them paving, I
Yeah.
think is right, the driving surface of such road or street shall be 20 feet.
Okay.
It's 14 foot. So we're a little short. The blacktop, the base coat to be 2.5 inches in depth and 1 inch of surface coat. So the blacktop now is 1.5 to 2 inches thick.
Any other questions? This is just a public hearing. We can have further discussion, obviously, at our next court meeting, but we just have to statutorily get the public hearing in place. Is there any other questions? Okay. Thank you all for coming out. And like I said, this is a statutory requirement to have the public hearing so that the court can hear all those for and against, and then we will discuss this at the next court meeting. Now we'll move to Walton Lane. Remember, that's 772 address, Roy? October 4th. Yeah, I'm going to be here. I'm not going anywhere. Y'all going anywhere?
In October?
October 4th?
Oh.
Fall break? So it's fall break, but we'll have discussion in court on the 4th, October 4th. The other road, correct me, is it 772, starting at the address on Walton Lane, the 772, and then going to the end? Okay. Anybody here for Walton Lane, starting at the address of 772, going to the end? Anybody here for? Anybody here for? Anybody here against? Okay, so let me clarify. Anybody here for keeping it in the county road? Anybody here for, go ahead, Gary.
Am I allowed to ask a question?
Sure.
Do you know how much money the county spent on that road?
when they took it in?
I do. It's about $32,000.
Okay.
Well, it was a county road, to do the maintenance on it, to upgrade it was $32,000. It's changed, I don't know the exact amount, but it's 32, maybe 400.
The only reason I ask is if you take that out of the county maintenance, is the county gonna get that $32,000 back?
That'll be in further discussions. It's a good question. Anybody for taking or keeping the Walton Lane in the county maintenance? Anybody for keeping Walton in the county maintenance? I think I said it 3 times, but I'll say it again. Anybody for keeping Walton Lane in county maintenance? Hearing none, is there anybody against taking Walton Lane out of the county maintenance? Anybody against taking Walton Lane out? Anybody against for taking Walton Lane out? Hearing none, I think we've met the statutory requirement for the public hearing. And again, thank y'all for showing up. You can stick around, enjoy the party. That concludes the public hearing. And we will move on to correspondence. Let me make sure I get y'all this back. Let me back up. Do we have a road review for Walton Lane? Brad?
Yes, sir.
Did we do a road review for Walton Lane?
It's in the folder.
Let me back up and read this. This is the road review for Walton Lane. September 19th, 2022, Morris County Fiscal Court proposed discontinuation of county maintenance of portion of Walton Lane. Advertisement for a public hearing was placed in September 15th, 2022 issue of the Tribune Courier. The public hearing is to receive comments either for or against the county discontinuing county maintenance beginning at 772 Walton Lane extending to the end. Notice of the hearing was also posted along Walton Lane. County Road Superintendent Roy Watkins and appointed road reviewers Brad Warning and Eddie Lepstow all viewed the road. During on-site inspections, observations were made and would be recommended the discontinuation of Walton Lane starting at 772 to the end of the road. What's the recommendations to discontinue? What's the road review's recommendation? To discontinue it? I mean, what for?
For the reason I feel like it saved the county money in the future of maintaining that portion of the gravel road.
Do you know how it would save the county money?
Save the money in gravel.
That's it?
Gravel and maintaining the ditches.
Don't we do that on majority of our roads?
We do.
Snow removal.
Which is a gravel road, so we don't plow gravel roads for snow.
Any questions? All right. No questions. We will also be discussing this at the next fiscal court meeting. Okay, this is item B under correspondence. This is from Jonathan Creek. This is the bond monies that we allocated to Jonathan Creek. It's just under $800,000 that we allocated to Jonathan Creek. We have completed the installation of the new main on Curd Road. The next step is to start the small section of Olive Hamlet Road. We are hoping to begin that in the next couple of weeks. So that is the update on that project. Total funds spent to date is $540,620.
I was out there yesterday and they've done started on Olive Hamlet, so working down that way.
That's the update on Jonathan Creek's project. Going into correspondence under C, and I'm just going to read this. This is just to update the court. And this is a great reason of why we have an advisory board in place. So this is from a fire district that directed a letter to 911, and I'm going to just read through this so that you see what the language was. This is from the East Marshall Fire District, and I've already talked to the chief, Brad and I did. Marshall County Dispatch, this was on September 6th. We believe there may be conflicting information regarding what types of incidents our department should be paged to, especially in relation to the lake. With that being said, we wanted to try to clear that up. In addition to normal criteria for a fire department response, fires, cars, car accidents, gas leaks, first responder, etc., East Marshall Fire District shall be paged on the following incidents: first responder calls above normal criteria involving traumatic injuries, amputation or uncontrolled bleeding, any type of boat or marina fire, explosion, etc., on the water from Kentucky Dam to Kentucky Lake Marina, East Marshall and South Marshall fire boats or automatic mutual aid. In addition, please page the nearest department by land. Any type of boat incident or rescue situation not listed involving life safety. Any mutual aid fireboat rescue. First responder calls on the water. If a boater is en route to a marina or land in East Marshall Fire District boundaries, this should be paged as a typical first responder call, and we will meet them as they make it to the destination like Moore's. If the boat is not en route, the land page East Marshall Fire Department first responders requesting boat and rescue squad should be paged mutual aid in case we do not have a full crew. Any changes to paging criteria involving East Marshall Fire District shall have written approval from the fire chief prior to the proposed changes taking effect. Back in 2021, I think it was January, might have been 2020, there was obviously the advisory board met years ago, maybe 2 or 3 meetings, but they haven't met since. But to have a collective policy that the fire departments agree on their own to work under, they got, 911 got them to agree in January, it's actually January 16th of 2020, to how they're going to be dispatched and called out. So there's an existing policy, and Tex knew about that. The point of the advisory board in this situation is you've got all the members involved, especially emergency response for pre-hospital care with the ambulance service. I talked to Brian, and of course Brian was not included in this. And the reason why I'm bringing this to the court so that you can understand, this letter may be good intentions for a communication or a discussion. That's where the advisory board comes in handy. That's where they have their discussion. That's where they can meet They can sit down. Brian can advise when it comes to mutual aid involving pre-hospital care. There's certain regulations on the K-beams, which is a state board, that has to be followed. The only people that have that jurisdiction is EMS. And so that's where this discussion should take place. If you can imagine multiple agencies sending individual correspondence, 911 is probably not going to know all of the K-beams or any regulations that are out there, but those individual agencies should know their regulations that they fall under. So this is just something to advise the court so that you understand when you're told they don't have any authority. In this case, K-beams sets the regulation. And when it's a medical, in this particular incident that sparked this correspondence, was a pre-hospital care medical situation. Mutual aid was not requested until after EMS arrived on scene. So EMS is following K-beams regulations, and majority of people know this, but this is a great opportunity for these agency leaders to sit down and discuss this. If they want to change this at their level, if they want to, how they want to follow those regulations set by the state board, that has to be communicated with EMS in this particular situation when it comes to pre-hospital care, for an example. That once they slap the table, just like, you know, this document here where they all agreed, then it's given to 911, and 911 is to execute. So just to shed some light on why that advisory board was put in place and where the authority sometimes lays. So that's just an advisory update on their correspondence. Under old business, approve the minutes, September 6th meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item B, ordinance 2022-07. The budget amendment, second reading.
Ordinance 2022-07, an ordinance related to the annual budget and amendment thereof, whereas the County of Marshall has received additional funds. Now be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of Marshall County that Section 1, the annual budget for fiscal year 2022-2023 is amended to A, increase or decrease the following revenue accounts. Cash balance July 1, General Fund, $3,088,781.11. Cash balance July 1, E911, $67,007.88. Payroll reimbursement, $3,400. State reimbursement, $64,323.86. Surplus equipment, $6,082. Insurance proceeds, $6,800, for a total increase of revenue accounts of $3,236,394.85. B, increase expenditure accounts as follows. Lease payment CFSB, $3,072,990.88. OEM maintenance repair, $15,790.23. Grant equipment, $67,007.88. County Attorney Secretary salaries, $3,400. Lease payment CFSB, $64,323.86. Fiscal Court enterprise vehicle lease, $6,082. Day use parks, maintenance and supplies, $6,800. For a total increase of expenditure accounts of $3,236,394.85. Section 2. The amounts added to the revenue and expenditure accounts in Section 1 are for governmental purposes. Approved by the Marshall County Fiscal Court the 16th day of August 2022 by Kevin Neal, Judge Executive. Approved as to form and classification the 31st day of August 2022 by Robert O. Brown, State Local Finance Officer. This amendment is to the budget. Ordinance was adopted by the Marshall County Fiscal Court, Kentucky on this, the 20th day of September 2022.
Is there a motion?
Move we approve.
Second.
There's a motion to approve the budget amendment. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Going to new business, item A, Kentucky Deferred Joinder Agreement and Resolution. Is there any questions? Hearing none, is there a motion?
Move we approve it.
Second.
Let me read the resolution. Resolution of governing body, Marshall County Fiscal Court, whereas the General Assembly of the Commonwealth of Kentucky has enacted sections 18A, 230, 18A, 275 of the Kentucky Revised Statutes authorizing the creation of the Kentucky Public Employees Deferred Compensation Authority Board of Trustees and the establishment of the Kentucky Public Employees Deferred Compensation Authority, KDC. And whereas the Commonwealth by KDC sponsors the Kentucky Employees 457 Deferred Compensation Plan and the Kentucky Public Employees 401k Deferred Compensation Plan, which includes KDC's deemed IRA program, the plans for adoption by local governmental political subdivisions and units, and whereas governmental unit wishes to adopt and enter the certain joinder agreement attached hereto dated. Now therefore be it, the date be September 20th, 2022, now therefore be it resolved of the government unit, Commonwealth of Kentucky hereby enters and adopts a joinder agreement with KDC for participation in the 457 plan and the 401k plan for the benefit of its eligible employees. And further resolved, be and hereby is authorized and directed by governmental unit to execute joinder agreement with KDC, which authorizes KDC to administer the plans on behalf of the governmental unit, and to do all further acts and things, and to execute all further documents in writing, which is authorized signatory, determines to be necessary or desirable in the order to effect this resolution. So we have a motion and a second to approve the governing body resolution. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And then the joinder agreement with the Kentucky Employees 457 Deferred Compensation Plan and Kentucky Public Employees 401k Deferred Compensation Plan. We have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Is there a second? We have a motion and a second to approve the Kentucky Employees 457 Deferred Compensation Plan and Kentucky Public Employees 401k Deferred Compensation Plan joinder agreement. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll go to item B on the new business, advertise for bids. This is the ambulance remount. Brian couldn't be with us today, but this is the same thing we do annually, which he is requesting to go to bids. Information that he's getting, obviously that timeline has been behind. So he's asking the court to approve for him to put out the advertisement for bids for remounts.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. The motion is to put out, give permission for Brian Cutsinger with the EMS director to put advertisement for bids for ambulance remounts. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item C, under new business, library board appointments. There's two positions. One is going to expire November 8th, 2020. This is a 4-year term. With that expiration date, my appointment is Danae Shelton to be appointed to fulfill that 4-year term starting November 8th, 2022.
Second. Or I move that we accept that
Second.
recommendation.
There's a motion and a second to approve the appointment for Danae Shelton to fulfill the expired term for the library board to begin November 8th, 2022 for a 4-year term. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The second expiration is for the board, library board. It's going to expire October 24th, 2022. This is, again, a 4-year term. My appointment is Paula Robinson to the library board for a 4-year term starting October 24th, 2022.
moved.
The motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion is to appoint, approve Paula Robinson to the library board starting a 4-year term, 10/24/2022. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. 2023, item D, 2023 tax rates.
So the last fiscal court meeting that we talked about tax rates, and the court voted on the real estate and tangible rate for the general fund. You also needed to talk about the motor vehicle rate. So that's 11.2% cents per $100. It's what it's been for the past several years. I don't know if that's anything you want to change, but I do need to know for sure what that is before I read this off, because that's a blank on this.
Was that the compensating
They,
rate?
I don't believe that they calculate motor vehicle
don't?
rates. It's been the same rate for the past several years.
Oh, okay. They don't have that on that sheet.
It's
the
on our
compensating.
sheet from the Department of Local Government, but it says informational only, and it just
Okay.
tells us what our rate has been.
I move we keep it at the 11.2%.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. The motion is to keep the current 11.2 motor vehicle rate. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. Marshall County Fiscal Court Order 2022 tax rates, an order relating to the adoption of the 2022 Marshall County tax rates. Whereas the Kentucky State Revenue Cabinet has certified the Marshall County property assessment as follows: real estate, $2,234,224,038; tangible personal property, $240,120,694; public service companies, $129,823,539; motor vehicles, $346,506,335; watercraft, $41,797,479; aircraft, $280,294; watercraft, $3,700,957; inventory and transit, $116,915,451; other agricultural products, $428,001. Now, therefore, it is ordained by the Fiscal Court of Marshall County, Kentucky, Section 1, in accordance with KRS 68.245 through 68.249, there is levied for the year 2022 the general ad valorem tax per 100 assessed valuation on all tangible property within the jurisdiction for the general fund, and such additional tax rates for each special district or other fund as indicated below. The general fund, real, 8.9, tangible personal, 8.9. Health District, real, 7, tangible, 7. Hospital District, real, 3.8, tangible, 4.4. Library District, real, 9.2, tangible, 10.74. Refuse District, 8.2 on real, 8.27 tangible. Extension District, 1.7 real, 1.82 tangible. Soil Conservation, 0.6 real. Gilbertsville Fire District, 8.5 real, 8.5 tangible. East Marshall Fire, 9.4 real, 9.4 tangible. Possum Trot, 6.8 real, 6.8 tangible. Bryansburg, or Bryansburg, I have it abbreviated, Palma, 10 real, 10 tangible. West Marshall Fire, 8.25 real, 8.25 tangible. Fair Dealing Olive, 10 real, 10 tangible. South Marshall Fire, 9.5 real, 9.5 tangible. Section 2, in accordance with KRS 132.487, there is levied for the year 2022 the tax rate of 11.2 cents per $100 of taxable value of motor vehicles, watercrafts registered in Marshall County. Section 3, in accordance with KRS 136.575, there is levied for the year 2022 the tax rate of 25 thousandths of 1% on bank deposits held by all financial institutions within the County of Marshall. Section 4, this order shall be published in the Tribune Courier newspaper by title and summary within 30 days following adoption. Section 5, this order becomes effective upon passage and publication. Order passed on this, the 20th day of September, 2022.
Is there a motion?
I knew you would get me for my pronunciation / I never get it right.
Is there a motion?
I move that we approve the 2022 tax rates as stated.
2023.
No, it's 2.
Is it? Okay. I got 2023. So
Let me say that again.
Yeah.
I move that we approve the 2022 tax rates as proposed.
Is there a
I'll
second?
second that.
There's a motion and a second. The motion is to approve the 2022 tax rates as proposed. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Treasurer's report.
I've added the treasurer's report to your drive. There's a lot of documents there. I included one that was the upload to the Department of Local Government. That's their actual form. You can find on there our short-term and long-term liabilities. That's not included in the other documents. The other documents are more for ease of use because the ones from DLG are hard to see. So they are the same information that you can find in the DLG report. And that is for the fourth quarter of 2022. So that was our.
And all inclusive of each quarter. This is the final year-end
Year-end report.
numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Need approval?
I believe you have to accept it.
Move we accept the treasurer's report as written, subject to audit.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is to approve the treasurer's report for the amended for Department of Local Government, subject to audit. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Transfers, item F.
Okay, I'll do the appropriation transfers first. There's only one on there, and it's to move from county fuel expenses to the OEM emergency notification software code red line. And that is for the additional amount that we will be billing out once we pay it. So we'll receive that money back. When we do, we can put it back in the county fuel line. There's also a transient tax transfer there of $8,487.85.
Move we approve the transfer.
Second.
The motion is to approve the treasurer's transfers. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
On my
Bills
bank-
and claims.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I
I'm
have
sorry.
bank transfers as well. On my bank transfers, they're all budgeted OTA subsidies that were in our original budget. So there's one from OTA to the general fund for $500,000, OTA to the road fund, $250,000, OTA to the jail fund, $100,000, OTA to the E911 fund, $200,000, OTA to the general fund again for the sheriff's fund within the general fund, $250,000, for a total of $1.3 million.
And that, just as a question, that update number
On the
is
right-hand side.
assuming that these are made, right?
Right. It's
They're
a running
including
total,
those.
including this one.
Yes. All right. I move that we approve the bank transfers.
Second.
There's a second. Motion is to approve the bill or bank transfers. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item G, is there any reason to deny payment of the bills or claims? Hearing none, let the court clerk record the bills to be paid, bills and claims to be paid. there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Motion to adjourn, second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.